Welcome to the inaugural episode, the first episode of Garage Therapy. I'm going to be a channel just about my life living with multiple sclerosis, going over my diagnosis, the things that I do for therapy, what's therapeutic to me, whether I'm, wrenching around in cars, I'm doing burnouts and stuff. That's what this is going to be about. And I'm going to give you guys updates on my MS story. Give me 8-10 minutes of your time and we'll go from there. I've got a ramp. Alright, so my multiple sclerosis story. I was diagnosed in August of 2012. Looking back though, I think there had to have been a handful of years that I can remember a bunch of certain episodes, shit that I would do and fumble and drop things. I'm still prone to dropping stuff all the time. I just ruined dinner twice last week by dropping a bunch of hot rice on the ground, and it was a whole scene. So that was, anyway. So, MS, abbreviation for multiple sclerosis. I know you guys all immediately think MS, and he's got some Mopar sass back here, which is true. But not that kind of MS. This is an autoimmune disease. It's basically like your body's having a family reunion that doesn't get along all the time, where one side is just always beating up the other. Basically what's happening is my immune system is attacking my central nervous system, which is basically your brain, your spinal cord, your optic nerve, so on. And the myelin, the special coating that's around your nerves, that's attacked. It's deteriorated, destroyed, it comes back scarred most of the time. And what that's like is like, my best explanation or example for people is to take a small room and take 100,000 extension cords, and I'll throw them in there, and strip away a bunch of the protective coating, the sheath, over the top of the wires in certain spots and stuff, and then shake it around. A bunch of those cords eventually are gonna short out, ground out on each other, whatever. And that's where you get a lot of mixed signals, like taking for granted the fact that I can at the moment still say, okay, wiggle your toes, and wiggle my toes. This is what I get a lot too, is what you would call like a fog of sorts, where I can be mid-conversation, focused, trying to do something, and I will just shut down. And that greatly affects just kind of your daily life, trying to communicate with people. It's horrible. But I think with all the great, let's say, fantastic things that come along with MS, there's a few of them. Like, I was lucky enough to be diagnosed, a handful of months after my MS diagnosis with PBA. Got a lot of abbreviations going on in here. I'll try to keep kept up. PBA, cytobulbar effect, and that is basically affected in anybody that's had a stroke or neurological disorders and such. And what is happening? You have sudden outbursts of crying, laughter, sadness, being happy, and you can't control it. You're like a werewolf, like it just out of nowhere. You can start feeling things happening, and you're like, shit, here it comes, and you just break down and you start crying for no reason. It's very frustrating. But taking all that into effect, besides the, some mornings you can't walk, sometimes you've got a bit of a gimp, Days like that can be tough. It's hard to walk a lot of time. Some people have it way worse than I do, and they're already in wheelchairs. But the point of this is finding your own therapy for what suits you. For example, this is going to be about, like my intro kind of shows, I'm just going to be doing stupid shit. I'm going to do burnouts, donuts. I'm going to be working on stuff like this, dirt bikes, quads, trucks. I kind of have a knack. I like to go find old buckets and fix them up, and then off to the new owner, then in with the next one. So I'll keep a car coming and flipping me here and there. But out of all the bad, you got to look at some of the good stuff. You have to have a sense of humor about all this stuff. I'm glad all my friends, we're all friends for years and years and years. Got a good knit group of a handful of guys, girls, gals, and gentlemen. And being able to have humor and laugh and joke about some of the issues that I have certainly makes things a lot easier. You don't want someone being afraid that they're going to offend you or hurt you or say something that's upsetting. You just got to have a sense of humor about a lot of the shit. And I mean, I remember telling a lot of my friends, now, backstory real quick, all my family live in England. I'm the only one that lives here in the States. They all live in England. And so when I was diagnosed, it was tough. I was by myself. I didn't have any family or any, I mean, I do, and I did, and they're in England, and we would do this, video chat, and speak to my mom all the time, and, you know, but I mean, physically and having somebody here, it was kind of tough. So I leaned on my friends a lot for that kind of stuff. And they had just as good of a sense of humor as I did. So, I mean, when I sat down and told some of my friends after my diagnosis, within 30 seconds, they were on their smartphones looking up the most ridiculous side effects and things I'm going to go through. And yeah, so those, you got to have a sense of humor. If not, it's going to be really tough. It's hard to keep your head up, keep your chin up. Excuse me if you see me shaking. I do have issues with my legs, and a lot of you probably go through it now. Part of my therapy that I do, I just shake them a lot, and they feel better. So if I just shake them, the weird hurt feeling, grab, whatever it's called, kind of goes away. But I don't want to be a Debbie Downer the whole time and all the shit that I'm going through. Just kind of an intro to some of the things that I go through, some of the things I do for fun. If you have kids, use them, lean on them, use them as inspiration to keep fighting, keep going on. That's what I do. Preemptive warning, you may hear it every now and then in my voice. I probably cry 30 times a day. It sucks. It is what it is. It's part of the PVA thing that comes and goes. And sometimes while talking, I'll stumble over my words and I'll start to jitter and jatter and I'll have a hard time talking, and eventually it just turns into me crying. Because if you have the same issues, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it comes on like a storm, and first you're like, why am I getting upset? Why am I crying? I shouldn't be crying because of this. And then because you get, it's a gnat. And anyway, so crying, I don't know where I was going with that, this stupid gnat. And you can feel it coming on, you start to get anxious, you start to get anxiety, you start to get panicky, and then you can't control it, and you're like, oh God, and then eventually you just, and it's ruined a lot of public events, going on vacations, it makes things hard, it makes going in public tough sometimes. Remember going with a friend, our kids are best friends, and we went up to the mountains, and I just happened to have a shitty attack of that sort, and I just couldn't, just out of nowhere, I just had to get up, and I started like getting upset and crying, and then you can't control it, and then you're around your friends, and you're just like a bumbling idiot. Is the most ridiculous thing ever. But there's a few things, there's a bit of meditation involved, and you can help it and kind of push it down once you feel it starting coming. Um, Forgot where I was going to go with this. Some of the things I've been having to get used to that is a change is my handy dandy cane. Now, I don't use this every day. I take it with me now in case I do need it. I've got one that matches my car, just to, if I ever drive that one goes in the car. This one's got a Vans grip thing on it. It's kind of cool. It's comfy. It's adjustable. It works. Holds my weight. So that's part of my EDC, my everyday carry. So anyway, finding your own therapy. Like I was saying, mine is doing stupid shit like this. I like to use my garage's therapy, and I'll take you on a tour of this. But most importantly, use your family and friends to lean on for inspiration. You get bored, ask them to go do something. If you got kids, you know, you've always got something to do. But then you need to use them too, so that you're not, oh, I can't do this, or I can't do that. And sometimes you just really can't, but to the best of your ability, get inspired by your kids so that they don't see a parent that's wasting away and not fighting, essentially. Show them to fight. I've had my rounds with seniorologists. That's always a pain in the ass, because you've got to wait 6 months anyway between MRIs, and then they want to see another MRI to compare. So, before you know it, a year and a half has gone by, and you're still baby steps into taking care of what you need to take care of. I'll get into more detail in more videos. I just wanted to word vomit and let you guys kind of know that that's where I'm going to go with this. So I'll be on here, there, adding little things. I've got a handful of things I need to do with this. I was just in a burnout contest and immediately blew the belt off one of the belts. It disintegrated, so that kind of ruined it for me. But I'd like to discuss and get further in to my diagnosis, therapies that I use, some of the medicines that I've used in the past and now I don't use, vitamins and stuff that I do use, vitamin D, B12. I obviously need to get this weight under control. That would be a huge help. But if you have any questions, ask, give me a follow, give me a thumbs up, comment, let me know.